Okay, so let's research this together. We will apply the 3 very nerdy steps of analyzing codified law. We're going to read the Child Custody Act first, then we'll break it up into elements, the at issue parts, and then we'll define as many elements as we possibly can. Now remember, when you research, you often find just one section at a time. You don't find an entire act. So this is the one section that we found. So the first step will be to read the entire act. And we're going to do that by using the table of contents. On this, this is Michigan's legislature's website. It's over here. If you're in a different state, it's going to look slightly different. But just find the actual table of contents. Okay, so here's our section here. We were all the way down here. Right down here in 27A about parenting time. That's what the statute we were just looking at. And so if we start at the beginning of the Child Custody Act, we see there a definition section, which we know we're going to get to. And then here we have best interests of the child, which could be related to parenting time. So we would want to read that and also add that to our section. So when we look at this, we're like, yeah, best interests of the child, that looks really important. So we'll want to add that to our list. Here we have a whole section on child custody disputes. Well, that's exactly what we're in right now. So here's section 25, child custody dispute. We'll want that as well. 26, liberal construction application of act. So it's looking like we need to read almost every single section here. Joint custody also applies. So there's a lot here that we need to read. So the answer to step 1 for this practice, which is really question 3, would be to write down almost all of these sections, and we would need to read them. Okay, before we get to steps 2 and 3, I just want to show you how we would do this in Lexis. We would go to the table of contents over here, and then this would give us the Child Custody Act and all of those sections. So over here is similar to what we were just looking at in the official statute. We can just make this bigger and look at even more sections. In Westlaw, we'd go to table of contents and do the same thing. It starts here, Child Custody Act, and here are the different sections. Okay, so now let's apply steps 2 and 3. Let's parse out the relevant portions, and we're going to focus just on this one here. Being an attorney can be very tedious at times because we have to really slow down and analyze things. So when we read this statute here, just this first section, and we break it down into its elements, it looks like we have parenting time and that it shall be granted in accordance with the best interests of the child. So we now know that's really significant language, and there was that other section that talked about it. The second sentence creates a presumption to be in the best interest of the child for the child to have a strong relationship with both parents. Okay, so you don't favor one over the other. In some states, they kind of favor the mom over the dad sometimes, but not in Michigan. And then we have this final clause here, which is that parenting time shall be granted to a parent in a frequency, duration, and type reasonably calculated to promote a strong relationship between the child and the parent. So now that we have these elements here, let's keep these in mind and go look at the definition section. And obviously we have this best interest of the child section, but let's look at the definition section to see if any of those elements are in here. So there's nothing too interesting or helpful here. We do have child, which probably not at issue. We do have parent, probably not at issue either. So I'm going to go to that next section, best interest of the child. And here they have a whole section just for this definition. And here we have all of these factors, almost 12 or so factors that a court would weigh in determining what's in the best interest of the child. So that would complete step 3, which is where we define, the different elements in the act. And remember, anything that is not directly defined in the act, we would go to case law. So that's kind of the next step, is we'd go to case law and find how courts have applied the best interest factors and any other parts of the statute that are at issue. Okay, good job on this one, and see you back in the book.